Let's place in the zoom action camera. So this one is going to be very specific to a player in that it's checking player state. And based on the player state, we'll turn visibility on here. It's going to say whether or not the camera is zooming in or zooming out for it. So as an example here, each state can either be enabled or disabled, doesn't have to be used. If we were to say on idle, we're going to say enabled. The delay out is how much time it's going to take before it starts to transition to. It has a time in and a time out. So this is going to be 1 second to start moving in and out, and based on the depth right here of 16 and 16. Okay. Let's do a, for the walking ability, let's say that there's not going to be a delay when he starts to walk, but we'll say that the depth, so it's currently set for 10 and 10, I'm sorry, 20 and 20, the time is 10 and 10. If we go ahead and play just with the default, we'll go from an idle state once we trigger it. So now it's going to be in at 16, and then when we start to walk, it's going to be in at 20 for it, but then when we let off, it goes back. Right. So those properties, and then same thing if I'm running, it zooms in even closer. If I let off of my run, it zooms out, and if I idle, it zooms out to there. Alright, so basic setup is just simply saying that it's going to track the player's movement and then decide how close to focus in on the player, how close to zoom in on the player for it. If, for instance, though, there is a in and out depth to it, and the reason for this is that you may actually want it to pulsate back and forth. So for instance, say we wanted it to go to 18 right here. We'll just do this one so you can see it. So the in and out depth based on the time, 1 second on each one. When I go over here and then my player stops and goes to idle, now notice I now have a in and out on the idle. So whenever the player idles, there's going to be a little bit of a movement. Alright, so that's going to be, generally that's going to be how all the properties go with it. So when you are working with this one, you can just check out which ones you're wanting to do, whether it's an action move, a run, jump, crouching, in volume, getting hurt, flying, and a die state. So each one will present a different one for you. The jump one, just as an example here, is that you may want the jump. Maybe when the player jumps, it goes really far out, and say it takes about 2 seconds to get out. Something like this would let you would allow the player to, when they jump, maybe they jump really high, so you want to make sure that they're able to actually get out to be able to see it. So then you could have it where, so the 2 seconds takes a little bit of time, but then it gets there, and then goes back to the idle, and then starts to zoom back out for the jumping. Alright, so there you go. Just kind of a nice simple way of changing up camera zoom based on characters, the player state that he's in.